Two public hearings of the East Haven Town Council. Public hearing number 1. Let's take a roll call first.
Ann Pennington. Mariano Santiago.
Here.
Alphonse Gamma.
Here.
Joseph Deco.
Here.
Aaron Martin. Here. Joseph Santino.
Here.
Mary Ann Caesar.
Here.
Louis Pacelli.
Here.
Joseph Bacali.
Here.
Michael Janetti.
Here.
Tina Headley. Richard Esposito.
Here.
Albert Milano.
Here.
Guy Belmonte.
Here.
Joseph Dickinson.
Here.
13 present, no quorum.
Thank you. Public hearing number 1.
Public hearing number 1, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance transferring $166,000 from account 10043-224-5110, regular salaries to account 10043-224-51120, snow and ice wages, $46,000, and to account 1008422956570, building and ground maintenance, $120,000 for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Mike, do you want to talk about that?
I can briefly here. It's an overage on the trash situation because the tipping fees were outrageous. And again, you know, I mean, the issue of this, the issue was the separation of the bulk. That's why they wouldn't do it anymore. They were bringing it to the single transfer station and separating it at the docks. And we were the only town doing it. But as that went on, and it continued, it was costing more money. So that's the overage.
Why are we charging it?
I have no.
Okay.
You're beyond my.
Okay.
You know, if we have to continue it because Charlie's not here, we may have to.
Okay.
I don't want to say. I don't want to speak to something that I don't know. I don't know the finances of it.
Okay.
I do know it's an overage in general.
Okay. Is there any public comment on public hearing number 1? Any council comment? Questions? Okay. We're going to close public hearing number 1. We have a motion to close. So moved. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Okay. Public hearing number 2.
Public hearing number 2, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend the tax ordinance to include utilized rules of operations.
You guys want to talk about it? Yeah. Good evening. Just make sure that mic is on. Yeah, you're definitely going to need it. Let me get talk.
No, you gotta hold the button.
Hit
Gotta
the,
be
hit
lit.
the speaker button until the red thing comes on. There you go. You're on.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you want me to go into detail now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then we won't do it in the regular meeting because we'll do it here.
Gotcha, okay. So the 3 things that we're looking to update in the ordinance are really things that I could track back that we've been doing in the office for at least 10 years. The 3 items are all things that were supposed to be part of the charter. And I think we all just assumed that they were part of the charter, so we acted the same way. A couple of months ago, I was at a conference and somebody had brought it up like, oh, I looked at my charter and realized that it wasn't a part, so I said I should go and look and see if it's part of our town charter, and it wasn't there, so I asked to have these items added to the charter, so these 3 ordinances.
I just want to correct you. Actually, took the ordinance, not the charter. So
Oh,
we're
okay.
amending the
Yeah.
the tax collection ordinance.
Okay.
I don't want people to think we're.
Okay.
We're not over
We're not
the
trying to
charter.
have a charter issue.
They have to
That's
be,
not-
Yes.
so we have to have an ordinance
Order,
or
right.
to meet statute.
So just to follow up, you're going to talk to the memo. I sent out an amended ordinance. You'll see where it's redlined. The 3 things that Shane is talking about are going to be placed in the amended ordinance in the area where it should. So, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna pass them.
So the first one is for refunds. So the tax collector may retain overpayments that are $5 or less. So if you overpay by $5 or less, we don't refund it. The refund process is quite taxing, and it's
No pun
not, no
intended.
pun intended. It's just more trouble than it's worth, to be honest. And then that tells us more balance, right? No. is, we may waive tax, interest, or lien fees $2 or less. So we could write off small balances, so we don't collect those and punish people for $2 or less. And then, with delinquent motor vehicle taxes, we need to, by law, report them to the DMV. And so we add a $5 fee because we have to pay for that system in order to put people on and off. Take them on and off of the civil hold. Oh, and for the immediate DMV clearance, we require certified funds, so cash, check, bank check, or money order if you want clearance same day. If you have a hold with the DMV, which is
Just
because
explain that one more time. Certified fees.
certified funds,
Funds.
cash, money order, bank check.
Is there any additional charge for that?
No,
Okay.
no, we don't charge the same day release.
What happens, people come in for a release from the DMV and they wanna give you a personal check and they're taking a screen.
Yeah. And that's gonna happen
We've
pretty
had,
often.
We know.
we've never,
Never,
yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah.
owe personal checks,
Yeah.
it's 10 days.
Yeah.
And that's-
Yeah.
But people could
There's
take it
been,
from
well,
the
they found too that people would, not just here, but in
Yeah.
other places, they would charge it, get their release, go to DMV, and then get on the phone and dispute the charge with the credit card company.
Wow.
Saying that they had to pay the payment
And
and
they
get their
couldn't
money back.
register their car until they paid their.
Correct.
I'm sure you get a lot of that. Okay. Any public comment for public hearing number 2? Any council comment?
I just have a question.
Sure.
You said you don't refund the $5,
5 or less.
so where does it go?
It gets us,
It's moved to the state, moved to the town.
It goes to the state?
That is,
that's what they say in the statute, but the town ends up absorbing that money. So it's kind of like a write-off in the opposite sense. And it's always been, I will say, $5 is like pretty, it's a small amount. That's the amount that you have to put into the ordinance is to have the $5. And I don't know if there's any town that does refund less than $5. So it's pretty much statewide.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion to close public hearing number 2. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, any abstentions? Okay, public hearing number 2 is closed. We're gonna make a motion to move that to the full council.
The hearing committee of the East Haven Town Council recommends to the full council adoption of the aforementioned ordinance.
Good. We're gonna open up the regular meeting. It is 7:06. Oh, we need to do a roll call on that. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ian Pennington.
Here.
Mariano Santiago.
Here.
Alphonse Cameron.
Here.
Joseph Deco.
Yes.
Karen Martin. Here. Joseph Santino.
Still here.
Aaron Caesar.
Here.
It's not a roll call.
Lucas
Just
Zeller.
for the
Yes.
record, it's not a roll call to open the meeting. It's just a roll call for moving this to the regular council.
Joseph Procali.
Here.
Michael Genetti.
Here.
Tina Hadley. Richard Esposito.
Yes.
Albert Milano.
Here.
Brad Monte.
Here.
Joseph Kikis. All in
Here.
favor?
Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order at 7:08. Welcome to the regular meeting of the East Haven Town Council. We have a roll call for attendance.
Ian Pennington.
Here.
Mariano Santiago.
Here.
Alphonse Cameron.
Here.
Joseph Deco.
Here.
Karen Martin.
Here.
Joseph Santino.
Here.
Mary Ann Caesar.
Here.
Lucas Zeller.
Here.
Joe Procali.
Here.
Michael Genetti.
Here.
Tina Hadley. Richard Esposito.
Here.
Albert Milano.
Here.
Brad Monte.
Here.
Joseph Kikis.
Here.
14 present, no quorum.
Thank you. May I ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a couple of things to do to this agenda tonight. One of them is going to be adding a certain item that came up in the last couple of days that we finally got an answer on, and we're proud to present. So we'll add that as item number 3.1. The other thing is, for item number 3, the subcommittee reports, I only received 2 responses from council members of what commissions you guys want to be on. So if you could please do that, so Lou and I can sit down and assign those subcommittees. Al Camera, Joe, and Rich Esposito, we're gonna, the three of us are gonna get together to talk about what that means and onboard you guys. So we'll put our schedules together. Obviously, I know you can't meet during the day, so it's fine. But all we need is about an hour to be on Zoom, and we'll go over all of that, so don't get too concerned about that. So for tonight, when we do item number 3, we'll, if anybody has anything for any of it, we'll just kind of group it all together. And then next month, we'll have the individual subcommittees. So, item number 1, approval of minutes. May I have a motion? So moved. Second? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, any abstentions? Okay, item 2, correspondence. I know we have some correspondence that you're gonna read into the record.
Want me to read it now?
Sure.
Dear honorable town council members, I would like to bring, this is from the mayor, I would like to bring to your attention an important matter involving our local veterans and to request the council's support in extending the town of East Haven's veteran property tax exemption program. Over the past year, several East Haven veterans contacted my office because they were unable to qualify for a property tax exemption under the prior version of Connecticut law. These individuals were rated by the Veterans Administration as less than 100% disabled, but had been determined to be 100% unemployable due to their service-connected conditions. The VA recognizes these individuals under the total disability based on individual unemployment designation. Despite the severity of their disabilities, the town was unable to approve their exemption applications because state law did not previously include TDIU veterans within the eligibility criteria. After hearing their concerns, I reached out directly to State Senator Paul Ciccarello, who recognized the importance of this issue for our veterans and our community. Through his leadership, the General Assembly enacted updates to Public Acts 24-46, 25-2, and 25-168, which now authorizes municipalities to extend property tax relief to veterans who qualify under the TDIU designation, as well as certain unremarried surviving spouses. These changes in state law now allow the town to provide equitable treatment to veterans who are unable to work because of their service-connected disabilities. I believe strongly that East Haven should adopt this expanded exemption to ensure that these veterans receive the support and respect they deserve. I respectfully request that the town council take action to adopt a resolution extending the town's veterans property tax exemption program to include, number 1, veterans who have been rated totally disabled based on individual unemployment, and number 2, unremarried surviving spouses of qualified veterans. This action will bring East Haven into alignment with the updated state framework and respond directly to the needs of our local veterans who raise this issue. Thank you for your consideration and your continued commitment to the residents of East Haven. And I am available to discuss this matter further with your convenience. Sincerely, Joseph Baker, for Mayor Town of East Haven.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Item number 3, subcommittee reports. Does anybody have anything on any of them? Okay. So item number 3.1, I'm going to ask for a motion to add, which is exactly that. You just read the top part. We don't have to. Go ahead.
Resolution of the East Haven Town Council expanding the Town of East Haven Veterans Property Tax exemption to include TDIU veterans and certain surviving spouses.
So we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Okay, so that's just to add that item. So let's talk about that item. I'm going to turn the mic over to Mike for a second. But before I do that, I want everyone to know how important it is to support our veterans. And I think the history and the reputation of this administration does exactly that. We're very proud of our veterans. It takes a lot of guts to do what they have done, and I think that they deserve everything that we can do for them.
I want to recognize someone that's in the audience, Felix Del Judas, who happens to be one of my neighbors. But Felix was one of the Veterans of the Year. He was the honored Veteran of the Year a couple years ago. Felix, if you want to stand up, I'd like to recognize you. Felix has 2 Purple Hearts. And I've known Felix for my entire life. And I'll make a confession. One time we were at his house, we were very young, and he had his Purple Hearts displayed, in his garage, which was, of course, more of a patio than a garage. And we knocked them down, and at the time I didn't know what they were. And when I went home and I told my father, oh my God, you're never gonna believe this. He's like, do you know what those actually are? And I said, no, and he explained it, and I was like so embarrassed, and of course, nothing happened to them. They just, in the case, fell on the ground, it was fine. Felix never knew about that, so I'm glad to make it 38 years, and make it 38 years without Felix killing me because of that. But I'm happy about that. I'm proud to know him and proud to call him a neighbor, and he's a great guy. So, Felix.
I want to thank all of you for this, with the advocacy for veterans, because some of them deserve it, and I think I do.
Of course.
In all due modesty. So some of the guys on the town council, I knew them before they were born. I knew their mothers and fathers. So thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you, Felix. And I know Felix has more awards than what I mentioned. I just don't want to screw them up. But he has a whole list of them, and if you ever have any time, he has a really interesting story about his time in the service. And I urge you to talk to all the veterans that you see, because some of the stuff that they did, I wouldn't even think about even doing it. So, and I know most of us can say the same, so they deserve it all. So, Mike.
So, actually, Mr. Del Judas was one of the veterans that kind of fell in the crack in this public act. And what it was, there were 2 criteria. One was that you be 100% disabled, and there were people like Mr. Del Judas, I believe yours said 90 or 98%. It was less than 100, and the statute didn't allow you even though clearly it's service-related, significant service-related disability. The statute, the public act said it had to be 100%. But down below, this TDIU, which we're talking about, would say they were 100% unemployable. And the argument, they come in and say, well, I'm unemployed, but the statute didn't allow it. So the change in the public act said it could be less than 100% disabled on your veterans paperwork and 100% employable, and you're allowed to grant this exemption. So that was the change. Paul Ciccarello went up. They were hearing it from other communities. Obviously, we were hearing it from Mr. Del Judas and others as well. And the assessor's office was hamstrung. So this is a real positive change. I know that Chairman Deco asked me what he thought the financial impact would be. It seems to be, based on the names that we've been taking over the course of the last year or so, to be about 12 individuals. No, there may be more out there, I don't know. And that equates to anywhere between $30,000 and $38,000. What we want to say, I want to say lost, they earned that. But if you're looking at dollars and cents, it's about that amount of money. So it's negligible in the scope of things. But that was the change. They were less than 100% disabled on their paperwork, but yet it clearly indicated they were 100% unemployable. And that was the change in the subsequent public acts that, everyone agreed there was a whole state statute. So I forwarded an ordinance to the town, to Roberta, and that's the resolution that we should adopt. Then we will put together, we already sent over to the assessor's office an updated application that'll go online immediately, and then that process will start.
Okay.
And I sent you guys a memo on it too.
Yeah, go ahead. So can I have a motion for that? Second?
Second.
Okay, I'm gonna have you read it, if you don't mind. And then we'll take a vote.
Whereas the state of Connecticut has enacted Public Acts 24-46, 25-2, and 25-168, which recognize additional categories of veterans eligible for property tax relief. including those rated totally disabled based on individual unemployability, TDIU, and certain unremarried surviving spouses. And whereas the town of East Haven currently administers the mandatory property tax exemption for veterans who are 100% service-connected permanently and totally disabled. And whereas Connecticut General Statutes 12-815 and 12-81G authorize municipalities to extend additional local option tax exemptions for qualifying veterans and surviving spouses. And whereas the town council wishes to expand the town's existing veterans property tax exemption program to ensure that the TDIU rated veterans and eligible unremarried surviving spouses receive the same local relief afforded to 100% service-connected permanently and totally disabled veterans. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of East Haven that 1, the Town of East Haven hereby expand its veterans property tax exemption to include veterans who have been rated totally disabled based on individual unemployability, TDIU, and unremarried surviving spouses of qualifying veterans as provided under current state law. The Assessor's Office is directed to administer this expanded exemption beginning with the grand list of October 1, 2025, or the earliest assessment year permitted by law, and to implement all filing, verification, and documentation procedures required under Connecticut General Statutes.
Okay, is there any public comment on item number 3.1? Any council comment on 3.1? Okay, can I have a roll call, please?
Ann Pennington,
Yes.
Mariano Santiago,
Yes.
Alphonse Cameron,
Yes.
Joseph Decker,
Yes.
Aaron Martin, Joseph Santino,
Yes.
Mary Ann Caesar,
Yes.
Louis Pacelli,
Yes.
Joseph Porcali,
Yes.
Michael Janetti,
Yes.
Richard Esposito,
Yes.
Albert Milano,
Yes.
Guy Gallanti,
Yes.
Joseph Dickinson.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Felix.
I won't collect too much because I'm 96, so I can.
God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you for your service.
One more thing, I forgot to, I should have said this during subcommittee reports. In regards to the recent activities that happened on Sunday night, a terrible thing, for those of you who don't know, I'm not gonna go into it, but a terrible thing has happened in our town Sunday night. Sure, your phone has been ringing off the hook about it, as a lot of ours have, and I want the town to know that we will not tolerate that behavior in this town. Our police department will do everything they can to protect themselves and us, in that order, okay? And I urge that this council stand behind the administration and the police department. Whatever they need to do that, we're gonna give it to them, okay? Unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable. Thank God, no one got hurt, but it could have been a much different outcome for not only our police officers, but anybody that was in that area. Luckily, it was in the middle of the night, so that wasn't many people. But it should be known that this administration and this council will stand behind the police department, whatever they need to protect themselves and to protect us. That's not gonna be tolerated in our town as long as we're here. So I want everybody to make sure that you're on the same page as us when the time comes. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. Item number 4.
To consider and act upon an ordinance entitled, an ordinance transferring $166,000 from account 1004-3224-5110 regular salaries to account 1004-3224-5120 snow and ice wages, $46,000, and to account 10084229-56570 building and ground maintenance, $120,000 for fiscal year 2024-2025.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Any further discussion from the public? Hearing none. May I have a roll call, please?
Ann Pennington,
Yes.
Mariano Santiago,
Yes.
Alphonse Cameron,
Yes.
Joseph Decker,
Yes.
Aaron Martin,
Yes.
Joseph Santino,
Yes.
Mary Ann Caesar,
Yes.
Louis Pacelli,
Yes.
Joseph Porcali,
Yes.
Michael Genetti?
Yes.
Richard Esposito?
Yes.
Albert Milano?
Yes.
Michael Monte?
Yes.
Joseph Lukasik?
Yes.
All in favor?
Thank you so much. Item number 5.
To consider and act upon an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend the tax ordinance to include utilized rules of operation.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any further comment, council comment? Hearing none, any public further? You have something, Megan, you want to say? Oh. Anybody else want to talk from the public about this? Okay, hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Ann Pennington?
Yes.
Mariano Santiago?
Yes.
Alphonse Camera?
Yes.
Joseph Deco?
Yes.
Mary Martin?
Yes.
Joseph Santino?
Yes.
Mary Ann Caesar?
Yes.
Louis Pacelli?
Yes.
Joseph Bacali?
Yes.
Michael Genetti?
Yes.
Richard Esposito?
Yes.
Albert Milano?
Yes.
Michael Monte?
Yes.
Joseph Lukasik?
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you so much. Item number 6.
To consider and act upon an application for state financial assistance pursuant to CGS Section 32-222. The Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development is authorized to extend financial assistance for economic development projects. And whereas it is desirable and in the public interest that the town of East Haven make an application to the state for $59,819,647.84 in order to undertake the Overbrook Early Learning Center and Family Resource Center Expansion Project, Phase 1, 2, 3.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
So I want to introduce some hard workers from the town here, from Overbrook Early Learning Center, that I had the pleasure of meeting on Zoom about this project last week, briefly, before we put it on the agenda. It's a big number, but don't be scared. It's not going to cost us anything. But this is a project that is, if we are awarded, is going to be fantastic. And I fully support it. Marissa and RJ, if you want to give a short presentation about what it is and the history and what you've done, and then Mike will chime in a little bit and we'll go from there.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Marissa Velasquez. I am the supervisor at Overbrook Early Learning Center and the supervisor at the East Haven Family Resource Center. So we have been presented this opportunity. We were presented a few years ago for phase 1, which it was the planning grant. And the planning grant came about and we were able to conduct a self-study. This self-study is a very lengthy study and it kind of breaks down the phases of how we're going to push forward our vision. And we were able to get that award in March of 2025. So $250,000 was funded to us, and we were able to create this self-study that analyzed everything about our site at Overbrook, 54 Garrish Avenue. So in that self-study, it kind of breaks down a few different options and how we move forward with the project. Through our conversation and our vision, we decided that we were going to push forward vision, option number 2, which, yes, it is a large number. However, we are going about it in phases. And the vision of this grant is to create a community hub that will embrace adult education, early childhood education. We would like to expand our programming for early childhood. Right now, we have 10 preschool classrooms existing at Overbrook with 200 students, 2.8 years old to 5 years. We would love to incorporate infant and toddler and also additional 3 preschool classrooms. In the section that we would like to expand would be adult education, a workforce suite, and also create a community center. As you know, this is our community dining location on Tuesdays, and we have outgrown this space. So our vision is to make sure that no one goes hungry, from our babies to our youth to our seniors. And right now, some of our seniors are having to take their meals home in little Tupperware, and we're like, no, we want them to be part of this. So this vision is going to have a separate location for a community center for you, for the community, to have all types of events. So we have that piece of it, and then we also want to restore our existing location and upgrade. We have, we don't have central air at Overbrook, but AC, the electric, and things of that nature. And then the third phase of the project is the site work. As you know, Overbrook is in our central location. A lot of our youth go out there to play basketball, and we're envisioning basketball courts, pickleball, soccer fields, a sensory area for our students, new playgrounds. And this is all incorporated in the self-study. And RJ has been working really hard, crunching those numbers with the budget and coming up with sustainability. This is long-term. Overbrook is sustained, and we're grant funded. So through our grant funding and through that expansion efforts, we'll be able to move forward for long-term sustainability. We did a lot of environmental groundwork. We're not building in that flood zone area. We're building on the side, so of our location. So, and RJ could speak a little bit more about those dynamics.
Before talking about that, I'd like to add, Marissa left out the fun part because it's about herself, but she does such a great job at Overbrook that the initial discussions happen because we are very successful with our home visit. Every pre-K student there has a home visit. People go out to the homes, meet with the families, see what they need, and bring the services back to them. When meeting with state legislation, they felt that they wanted to expand that program. It was one of the only ones in the state that was so successful. So the question was posed to us, if you had an enlarged space, would you be able to expand your program to reach more? And of course the answer was yes, and this is how this all started, to expand the building, to expand more classrooms, to increase our reach. So that is how the first conversations happened before what Marissa had said. Everything she said is accurate and true, but that was the forefront of the conversation of what you guys are doing is amazing. We want to expand it at a state level. How do we do it there for you now? So that's what started the planning phases grant. With that, we were able to contract with Silver and Petrocelli, who did the study for us, which entailed subcontracting out to an environmental company who came and did examinations and had conferences with our town engineer about flood zones and FEMA maps and so on and so forth to make sure that we were not asking to do something in an area where we were unable to do it. We were granted that clearance, which is why we're here tonight and moving forward to the next steps. I believe the packet we gave you has all that information in there, and all the fine details are all in there for you to review. But this is just a great project that allows us to expand our footprint in the community, affect positively more people and children, as well as helping our community grow and give us a place to really call home. It has no financial impact on our town. We are asking for the full project. If it does not happen, they do not grant us the full project, we have full reign to come back and go back to the architect and say, we were granted X, give us another plan that falls under that realm, so we can do some sort of expansion under the financial constraints given to us. But anytime we are given an opportunity as such as this in such a large volume, we will always do the work necessary to bring it to you and hopefully take advantage of that. So, yeah.
Just so if you get this and granted this, would it affect what's going on now? You know,
That's a good question.
Yeah, so because we're doing it in phases, if you're driving into the Overbrook facility, you know where our gym area is on the left-hand side. The addition that would be added will be to the left of that in that parking lot and grass area. So phase one would be building the building addition there, leaving our students in classrooms where they currently are, completing that phase one completely. Once that happens, the students in classrooms would move over to that new facility, and then the rebuild of the current classrooms would happen as phase two. So there may be some movement of students at the 12-month mark, but that would just be moving them completely from older building to new building so they can renovate and update the second half.
Much of an impact on the
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah, please.
Are you adding classrooms or you
For sure.
just, so how, you say you have about 200 students, so how many more students are you projecting? Because now that starts affecting the Board of Ed budget with teachers and paras
Nope.
and.
So it's Overbrook currently is self-sustained. We would be able to, we currently have 180 students with, what's the new grant?
Early start?
Early start seats, where they give us X amount of dollars per seat. We would be able to expand this. You can probably saw in the news, they expanded by 1,000 seats available. With this, we've kind of had some sort of comfortability knowing that if we expand our program, we will get more seats allotted to us, which will entail us to increase our grant-funded seats. We currently have enough staffing with the ratios we currently have to expand for a few more classrooms. The new staffing would be entailed to the infant and toddler section, but that will be done in phases as well. We're not gonna big bang come in and add it all in year one, day one. It'll be a slow work up to the full projection of students and staffing over that 3-4 year period.
So the projection, at the end would be 250 students, which will include, we tier it, we're planning to tier that into the phases, opening one classroom at a time. Overbrook initially started with 7 classrooms, and through, our hard work and really, going out for additional funding, we're now at 10. 1998 is when this all began in East Haven, and when I came on board in 2011, there was only 29 school readiness slots. That was it. So the program has built from 29 slots to now 195. So with this expansion, we're going to be able to service more families who need the care to go to work, and the collaboration with adult education, those families that need to take classes in that same vicinity will be able to utilize the child care and also the workforce, GED, ESL, resume building, and really increase the capacity for the families in our community.
What is the Board of Ed responsible for with the Overbrook program? Financially?
Financially, whatever above and beyond what the grant covers, which is currently around $125,000. With the increase to the early start seat amount, we will be self-sustainable. They're going from 13 to 15?
Yes.
13,000 to 15,000 per seat. So what that means in a classroom of 10, at the $15,000 per seat mark, we will get income from the state of $150,000. And that far exceeds the need for that one certified staff plus the caregivers that are with that teacher, making us now self-sustainable. With the increase of seats and that increase per seat is how we got to the self-sustainability mark. But currently, that takes effect coming year. This is the last year of the current model, which I think we're on the hook, not having numbers from around $120,000, $130,000.
And this is coinciding with the Early Start initiative that's going to be, it's rolling out by 2030. There's going to be an additional funding, as RJ was mentioning. They're slowly rolling it out now. January, you're going to see 1,000 more slots coming out. If we had enough space, we'd be going for it, but right now we're maxed out. So with this expansion, we'd be able to build upon that.
Any other questions?
I got one.
Go ahead.
The school's run sustainable, so this grant money you've been getting in yearly, obviously, right?
Correct.
Okay. They give you any insight of how long this grant is gonna last? You know what I'm saying? These grants could run out, overnight, unfortunately.
So we've been consistently getting, this used to be called Smart Start. That was recently, School Readiness, which was recently revamped by the state of Connecticut.
Right.
Early childhood seems to be a strong push from the state level to increase pre-K to more of the population. So I would say short term, it seems pretty reliable that it'll be here for a while.
this is a question that's been asked to
Yeah.
us
Yeah,
for a long
absolutely. And, you
time,
know,
and it's very
Obviously, when
valid
the grant
question.
runs out,
So,
it's on us.
with the
We
early
don't ask.
childhood, program, with this Early Start grant, the funding that the governor is receiving this money from is from the endowment fund. There is a rainy day fund that they're building, and that's how they are implementing those funds coming through and, dispersing them to the towns. We have been very fortunate because we're already an existing program, and we have shown an unmet need through our community needs assessment and through our home visiting and really reaching them, that every time we had a space, we were able to secure that funding. So what you're mentioning is now, to reference what you're asking, the Early Start funds, the new funding is coming through the endowment through the state.
Okay.
Luckily, we're not federally funded, we are
Yeah.
state funded, so we've been in the clear. And we also have Smart Start funding, that's another grant that we, which is going to be increasing. Right now it's at $175,000, and it's gonna increase to $291. We have 3 Smart Start classrooms, and those are certified special ed preschool teachers that are on a teacher contract. But they're funded through that funding. And then we have our family resource grant. That's my little grant. And that's what does the most work, really. That's the home visiting, the food distribution. And that grant is always, it's from the State Department of Education, different than the Office of Early Childhood. And that grant, we're always pushing to get more funding. We've been very big with advocacy, and we keep getting on that line. So with this support and the increase with classrooms, we can fund, all programs.
Right.
So if we get the classroom in the space, our funding for Early Start
The thing is, I'm
rises.
getting at is, we're relying on this funding,
Yeah.
Without this funding, we're in trouble.
Well, I want to just bring up a quick point, not to
Yeah.
interrupt, but yes, the very valid points that you bring up. But what we're here in this grant is to expand our building.
Absolutely.
So I think that, first, let me commend you again for going after this to better the services to the town, not just the kids, right, but the town. And it's very important, and I'm hopeful that we get something, if not all. I know that there was a lot of work put into this. It was very obvious, and the council members will see that in your packet, that there was a lot that went into this project. So I also want to bring up a point that a lot of these grants, and RJ, you can talk about this, that a lot of these grants that were awarded were actually turned back to the state because the legwork wasn't done. They weren't shovel ready. This project is shovel ready. So I commend you for that, because that's another positive thing in our pocket to say, hey, we're ready to go, give us the money. And that's very important. But I just want to follow up. So if we get this, and we get a great big building, and then they say, oh, we're going to cut the funding, yes, that is on us. If we want to continue that program, which I would imagine we would. However, we have a $60 million increase in our infrastructure in the town. We can do a lot with that. So it's always a concern that grants are going to run out and not get funded, but I think the governor, we spoke about it, the governor is really pushing for early education of kids and the preschool programs, the Early Start programs. So, I can't see this governor defunding this. So we'll be hopeful for it, and we'll just keep an eye on it. So, of course.
So is it, for the families of the children attending, is it basically financially underprivileged? Is that, or could
Anybody could apply
So
to
it's
Overbrook,
like-
yeah. And we do have a sliding scale fee, so it is tuition based, so we do get additional revenue, which is very helpful. And we also receive Care for Kids subsidies. So that's an additional funding source as well. But it's open to everyone in the town of East Haven. Yes.
Any other questions or comments?
One last question. You alluded to it being shovel-ready. Seems fantastic in many regards. Is there a certain time frame or restraint in which you have to use these funds?
No, so the initial grant application, from what we were told, is we will present it as a total package, but in doing the research and having the conversations with the committee members we are familiar with, when we saw the $59 million, it was kind of sticker shock for us. So we kind of went back and said, are you comfortable supporting this size of a project? And the answer was yes, but break up into phases. So the $59 million is kind of, there's pieces that have inflation kind of built in there. So the first 12 months is project ready, meaning starting within this 2026 coming year. And then the other phases following with a 5% inflation rate. So it's not, doesn't need to happen in the next 12 months, but it will, if it begins in the 12 months, it'll follow that piece. And in that 59, I believe off the top of my head, there's like a $6 million contingency for fluctuation in any materials or inflation as market adjusts. Yep.
One more thing I want to add, and then if you want to add anything. Part of this application, I know I keep doing that. Part of this application is a letter from the mayor in support of this, which you've all seen in your email. I've decided to go one step further, and Vice Chair Pacelli and I are going to be signing the letter from the council with your approval to forward it along with the application to not only the governor's office, but to all of the committee members to show the support of this grant and your project, obviously. So we'll keep true to our word, and we support you. So you'll all get a copy of that letter once we sit down and write it.
And we will, just so you know, we will be hopefully hitting submit by Friday, so everything will be Friday by noon. Everything will be at the state that's needed and ready for the review.
And that's another important thing. Marissa initially asked to get on the January agenda, and I was like, you have a deadline. You're getting on in December. We're not going to prolong this. We want to keep this as streamlined as possible. So, Mike, if there's anything you want to add.
Yeah, the only thing that you're being asked to do tonight, I sent out a memo on the 25th, is execute or ratify a draft resolution that you recognize what the town's responsibilities are when you seek financial assistance for economic development projects. So, one, the project was qualified as an economic development initiative under the statutory definition. It must support community or regional development goals. Clearly, this does. You have to formally, as a council, authorize the submission of the application and acknowledge the obligations under the program, reporting, planning, all of the things they've done. That's required by the Department of Economic Development. So the resolution, which I believe the Vice Chair has, I know it's here, will read is simply that you understand the obligations, you're authorizing the grant to be submitted, and you're also authorizing Marissa and RJ to act on behalf of the town with respect to the grant. So that's the document that you're voting on.
So Mike, so from a governance model then, they're going to be responsible for the management of this project and everything else?
Yeah, I think, whether it's a construction manager, whatever, design build or something like that, like we did with the rink, that would be something that would be, determined down the road. I mean, so you have the required, you weren't here, but we did the design build at the rink, which is a relationship between the architect and the developer that, creates a tremendous amount of success in these plans. So that has to come to, be determined. These guys aren't going to be, looking at plans and doing that kind of thing. It would be hiring through the funding the necessary people to execute the building of the facility.
So in your plan, Joe, there is a timeline if awarded. They normally award this by March, that we would have to go back to our architect, then we would go to the table, which would sit with the mayor's office, to go out to bid for a project manager and an actual builder. And once those plans are laid out, it would be a joint effort. The grant does not accept applications from boards of education. It has to come from the municipality. So the town of East Haven is in essence applying for this grant. We just did the back end work to get it ready for you to just sign, stamp, and go.
Okay. The owner of the property.
Correct.
Any other council comment? Any public comment? All right, let's have a roll call.
Dan Pennington? Yes. Mariano Santiago,
Yes.
Alphonse Cameron,
Yes.
Joseph Dedna,
Yes.
Karen Martin, Joseph Santino,
Yes.
Mary Ann Caesar,
Yes.
Louis Pacelli,
Yes.
Joseph Kirkcalli,
Yes.
Michael Janetti,
Yes.
Richard Esposito,
Yes.
Albert Milano,
Yes.
Michael Monte,
Yes.
Joseph Dickinson.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carried.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
You're welcome.
Good job.
Great job. So the next three items, or next bunch of items, 6 items, are just setting public hearings, so we're not gonna go into detail about it.
Right.
Just read it.
Take your time.
Item number 7.
To consider and act upon setting a public hearing date of January 6, 2026 for an ordinance entitled, an ordinance making appropriations for various public improvements aggregating $1,520,191 for the 22-23 capital budget, and authorizing the issuance of $1,520,191 bonds of the town to meet said appropriations and pending the issuance, therefore, the making of the temporary borrowings for such purpose.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Again, it's just for a public hearing date. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Hearing none. Item 8.
To consider and act upon setting a public hearing date of January 6, 2026 for an ordinance entitled, an ordinance making appropriations for various public improvements aggravating $3,330,321 for the 2023-2024 capital budget, and authorizing the issuance of $3,330,321 bonds of the town to meet said appropriations and pending the issuance, therefore, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none. Any opposition? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Hearing none. Item 9.
To consider and act upon setting a public hearing date of January 6, 2026 for an ordinance entitled, an ordinance making appropriations for various public improvements aggregating $1,944,200 for the 2024-2025 capital budget, and authorizing the issuance of $1,944,200 bonds of the town to meet said appropriations and pending the issuance, therefore, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Hearing none. Item 10.
To consider and act upon setting a public hearing date of January 6, 2026 for an ordinance entitled, an ordinance making an appropriation of $11,200,000 for costs associated with a settlement agreement that resolves a judgment resulting from claims brought by certain plaintiffs against the town of East Haven and other defendants regarding the plaintiff's quarry business, and authorizing the issuance of $11,200,000 bonds of the town to meet said appropriation, and pending the issuance, therefore, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Hearing none. Item 11.
To consider and act upon setting a public hearing date of January 6, 2026 for an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending and restating an ordinance entitled, an ordinance making appropriations for various public improvements aggregating $2,575,000 for the 2020-2021 capital budget, and authorizing the issuance of $2,575,000 bonds of the town to meet said appropriations, and pending the issuance, therefore, the making of the temporary borrowings for such purpose, to specify the projects to be financed and to increase the appropriations and bond authorization by $100,000 for financing costs, increasing the total appropriation and bond authorization from $2,575,000 to $2,675,000.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Hearing none. Item 12.
To consider and act upon setting a public hearing date of January 6, 2026 for an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending and restating an ordinance entitled, an ordinance making appropriations for the various public improvements aggregating $985,134 for the 2021-2022 capital budget, and authorizing the issuance of $985,134 bonds of the town to meet said appropriation, and pending the issuance, therefore, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. To specify the projects to be financed and to increase the appropriations in bond authorization by $75,000 for financing costs, increasing the total appropriation in bond authorization from $985,134 to $1,060,134.
We have a motion?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Any abstentions? Hearing none. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
I make a motion, we just, I need to discuss something.
Okay.
I put some.
We could add something to the agenda, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I wanna put the fees that we have, we're in trouble right now, the fees that we have at the landfill, payroll,
Yeah, we're,
I'm not talking about the fees.
Yeah.
We're sitting on 300 mattresses that are costing us $30 a piece.
Okay,
We either need to charge for them, because right now they're free,
okay.
or we need to not accept them. There's two choices, that's, you know what
We
I'm
make
saying?
that,
so they're, just so you know, to the extent that we can talk about this, but there is a move afoot from a number of municipalities to get together and purchase a mattress
Shred.
shredder.
Oh, beautiful.
Very expensive. Some of the municipalities that are getting more funding, grant funding than us, are willing to bear more of the cost of that, so that's in the negotiation stage. It does cost us $25 to dispose of the
Yes.
mattresses. And I have no idea how a three-family house has 7 mattresses in front of it, but that's what Public Works is finding, so it's been a real burden. But that's where the negotiations, the discussions are going on right now, that we would, because with the exception of the, obviously New Haven, wouldn't be New Haven, it's just too expensive for any municipality our size to get, so we're looking at that.
Wow.
not even happy.
Yeah?
All right, so if we need to, we'll revisit that in January.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
hopefully we'll have.
I think what you may get is an appropriate, request for appropriation.
Yeah,
To
right.
become
Yeah.
part of,
Yeah.
a group to purchase something like that. That's,
All right,
those
good.
That's fine,
negotiation
yeah.
talks are going on.
Great. May I have a motion to adjourn at 7:56? All in favor? Aye. Have a happy holiday season, so whatever holiday you celebrate. Hopefully you get to spend it all with your family.